What a strange picture. Welcome to another video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be talking about one picture that I took several months ago in the winter time up in Slide Rock State Park in northern Arizona. And I'm going to be talking about this picture mainly because of some feedback that I got from it. And I don't normally talk about the feedback that I get from pictures because generally it's been positive. Of course, there are a few negative comments here and there, but I don't take them very seriously. In this particular instance, however, I got a piece of feedback, a critique, from someone on a Facebook group that I put this picture on. And I really wanted to talk about this comment that I got because it actually made me think about what I was doing in this composition and what my thought process was, and ultimately how I can improve this photo. And I think there's some value to this comment, even though I don't necessarily agree with it 100%. But I think this comment is very valuable, not just for me, but for all you guys as well, to think about when you're out there taking pictures of landscapes that you always venture to or are very familiar with, kind of something to keep in mind. And the gist of what this person was saying was the following. In this picture, I'll show you it on the screen, you have this bold orange reddish rock in the foreground, which kind of leads you into that stream, which is Oak Creek. And ultimately, your eye then settles on the background, which is that beautiful misted over snowy conditions of those trees lining both sides of that creek, and ultimately the sky with that hazy, misty cliff face in that top right corner. So there's no question about it that this picture is moody and has a lot of atmosphere and a lot of drama. And it's something that I really liked about this picture in the first place. And kind of capturing this picture was difficult, actually, because it was snowing at the time. It wasn't very heavy snow, but it was a pretty good snowfall, as well as pretty windy. And you could see all those little bits of snow kind of being blown up in the foreground that are slightly out of focus. And I feel like that really adds to the image and adds to the drama. And I also wanted to capture as much motion in the water as possible to add that windy, atmospheric vibe that you get from this picture. I did not want to make it so super silky, so I went with a pretty fast shutter speed for this one. And the feedback that I got from one particular person on Facebook, which I found very interesting, is that they said, this is a very strange image, and they're extremely distracted by that bright orange rock in the foreground. And he was saying this would be a much better picture if you would just cut off the bottom half and just show the top half. So I'm going to show you guys side by side here the picture that I took, including that foreground component with that orange rock, and right next to it I'll show you the image without it. And you definitely can decide for yourself what you think is better as an image, and please let me know your own thoughts. But it definitely got me thinking, because I personally like the image including that foreground element with that bright orange rock for a couple reasons. The main reason that I like it there is because it speaks to me about what Slide Rock State Park, this particular location, is all about. Because I've been here so many times, in every sort of season I've been here. Summer, spring, fall, winter, you name it, I've been here. And what always draws me to this place are those different levels of those rock formations on either side of that stream, and that bright orange and red color of those rocks, which make it very, very interesting and unique. And that's really what draws me there. And when you parallel that with the normally green, bright trees that line the tops of those rocks, it creates a really, really beautiful lesson in color contrast. And to see Slide Rock State Park with these conditions, where everything is white and misty and very wet, and you still have an element of that bright orange red rock coming through in the foreground there, anchoring the whole picture, to me, that tells the story of what Slide Rock State Park is all about. It's all about maintaining that beautiful color, that bold, eye-catching color of those rocks, along with all the other elements in the scene, such as the trees and the water, which kind of maintain their look throughout the year. And to me, this really provides a lesson of what are you shooting for, or who are you shooting for? Are you really taking pictures for yourself, or are you taking pictures for other people? And that's really what this boils down to, and I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit here, what I mean. Because when I took this picture, to me, this picture works when you include that foreground element. Because I've been here so many times, because I know what the conditions are other times of the year, that's why I took this picture including that element in the foreground, because that's what Slide Rock State Park is all about to me. And maybe to someone else who hasn't been to this location, who doesn't know what this location is really all about and what it means to be there, would look at this picture and be distracted by that foreground element, such as the commenter on Facebook. And I think I could back this up by giving you a little bit more information in that I've posted this picture on several different groups on Facebook as well as Instagram, and the location where I got the most positive feedback was on a particular Facebook group just for Arizona-based photographers. And I think the reason I got the most positive feedback from that group is because most of the members and commenters on that group have been to Slide Rock State Park and kind of know the vibe and know the area and are familiar with what it looks like during the rest of the year. And that's why it speaks to so many of them when they see conditions such as this, which is very rare for Slide Rock State Park. Whereas on other groups, and even on Instagram, I didn't really get that same enthusiastic, positive response. Sure, I got plenty of comments on it, but I didn't feel the same level of interest as the Arizona-based Facebook group. I think it speaks to you more deeply when you are familiar with the location that is being shot. And this is the topic I want to discuss with you guys and ask you for your opinion as well. Do you go out and shoot a location for yourself, meaning based on your own familiarity with where you are? Do you take pictures which then kind of show that familiarity in such a way as to tell a story for yourself and to kind of express your take on a scene that you know so well? Or are you trying to come into a scene with a fresh pair of eyes and just take a nice picture and just take a nice composition and share it with the world and see what they think, and then assume that other people will kind of have the same sort of reaction that you had going into it? So that's all for this one, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe down below if you haven't already. And definitely leave a comment and let me know your thoughts about who you shoot for yourself or for other people. And when you go about a composition and when you go about taking a picture, what do you look for? Do you look for things that are familiar to you and try to bring them out in a new way? Or do you go ahead with a fresh pair of eyes and find something that just looks good regardless of how familiar you are with that landscape? Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.